Hello, 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 YouTube. Welcome to our 1111 portal. I'm so excited. Today, as you know, is the celebration of Lady Ball's first birthday. And I'm super excited to be celebrating with you. What I wanted to do today to really nail in all of the wonderful lessons that we've learned from our beautiful baby Lady Balls is talk about the purpose and mission of my channel, the things that we've shared in Lady Balls, and give you my best, most savage, most real, most like typically hidden behind a paywall type of things, the things that I would say to my daughter about relationships, dating, money, setting yourself up right in the world. You guys know recently on Instagram, one of my reels went viral. It has 1.5 million views. Thousands of new people came into my world. And it's been kind of shocking realizing how people think. And I think we live in a little bubble where we're surrounded by this kind of information and we take for granted that everyone knows this, but my DMs were blown up by people saying, who are you? How did you do this? Tell me more. Like people had all of these limiting beliefs of why they could not have this life. And so it made me realize, it shook me out of my bubble that not everyone still knows, right? Like we still have to make sure that people have the right information. So let's get the party started. Let me know in the chat right now or in the comments if you're watching this in the replay, what was your biggest takeaway from the Lady Balls book? What was your favorite chapter? Has something happened to the live? Hopefully it's still good. What was your biggest takeaway right now? Still good. Okay, so what was your key takeaways? What was your favorite chapter? I hear a lot of this from my close proximity students and clients. They tell me the things that were the biggest takeaways for them, but I'm very curious what it is for you guys. What was the thing where you're like, oh my God, this is something I didn't know. This blew my mind. Okay, good. Yeah, there's some like internet glitches overhearing, so I just want to make sure that I'm still live. Okay, so while you're typing this, let me start sharing with you why I started this channel, which eventually led to this book. So you guys know in 2010, my mother passed away from cancer a few weeks before I had my second baby. And she was a fiery woman. She was a little baddie and she was very active in her community, in her business. She was just thriving in these last few years of her life. And then suddenly she gets diagnosed with cancer. She never really took care of herself. She was the kind of person that would like light herself on fire to keep other people warm. And she forgot to take care of herself. And so she got diagnosed with cancer at 47 and 49, she passed away. A few weeks before her 50th birthday, she was gone. And after that, I had my second baby. I was just very much in my grief and my sadness. And in January of 2011, I launched my YouTube channel as a way to overcome my grief, as a way to meet other women. I just wanted to be around women. I think I missed my mom and I wanted that like female energy. And I started the channel just sharing my life, my hauls, what I was eating, all the things. And eventually people started asking me for advice because they started seeing how my life was. And I started sharing from my background, my education, my life experience, my embodiment. And eventually these people started saying, hey, you would make a great life coach. So I went and I got my life coaching certification, started my business in 2017. And then last year, I finally put some of my key principles, some of the things that are taboo, they're triggering for people in this book. I wanted to have a textbook for my channel and for my curriculum. Notice that every teacher has a textbook, whether it's something they wrote or was given to them. All the prophets had a textbook, the Bible, the Quran, the Gita, there's always a book. Every professor I had in university had textbooks that they assign. So I know that a book is very important for every teacher. It unifies their community and their biggest lessons. And so for me, even though this is my second book, I also wrote the book Contained in Love, which was written for my daughter as some of like my lessons learned. And so this was the book that I wrote with the intention not just only for my daughter, but for like other people as well. So let me see what you guys are saying. Then I'll give you some of my most savage advice, some from this book and some just adding to it. Kristen said, love the balloons. Thank you. Yes, we really wanted to get into the celebration of the 1-year-old birthday. Biggest takeaway could be said, what embodied actually means. Oh, I love that. Beautiful. And welcome our new members to Level Up Queens. Welcome Brenda, Jewel, Glow. Welcome Justine. Fem said, my biggest takeaway, taking responsibility for polarity and passion as a woman in marriage makes for a powerful family unit. Everyone wins. Yes, we want to look for those highest good of all moments, the win-win-win moments. Key takeaway was, you can write a book in 3 weeks. It changed what writing a book timeline means for me. Yes, and Sadhu, I have to tell you, the reason it took me 3 weeks to write this is because I took a week off to go and republish this. Because this book was just written for my daughter, it was kind of written in a very, like I never even sold it. I never told people about it. And so I wanted to jazz this up. So I started writing this book, took a week off, republished, like refixed some things up in here, made a new cover for it, republished this, then came back. And that's why it took me 3 weeks. So when you're in it, when you're in Einstein time versus Newtonian time, time moves differently for you. What you can accomplish in Einstein time is eons ahead of what you would do in Newtonian time. So that's why, you know, some people could be forcing a book or making it miserable, and it could take them a year or 2 years to write a book. But I was in Einstein time, baby. And so, of course, I collapsed time. I did it so fast. I wrote that book in a week. When I'm one of those crazy people, like when I'm tapped into the flow, I can do in a week what most people will take like a decade to do. Like I can admit this now. I'm approaching my 44th birthday in a couple of weeks, and I can own that that's the kind of person I am. Thanks for the wonderful advice and wisdom you share, Mina. It is so valuable in communities that lack it. Thank you, Cece. That means a lot to me. Thank you for sharing that. Also, huge takeaway was women is the emotional home. This passes the responsibility of that back to us, and it's such a radical concept in the times we live in. Yes, that we are the ones that control the energy of the household. We've been given with the energetic gifts. Janet said, my biggest takeaway was learning how to control your energy. If you can control your energy, you can control your world. Janet, yes, I couldn't agree more. Andrea said, hi, Mina, happy 1-year anniversary to Lady Balls. So glad I found you when I did. Your work has been life-changing. Thank you, Andrea. Justine said, hello, Mina. For me, the best was the different stage of womanhood and the requirements for marriage. Now I dumped my boyfriend and I live by myself in a rich neighborhood. I reclaim my energy. Beautiful, beautiful. So Justine, your comment will be the perfect segue into some notes that I made, what I wanted to say today. And then we'll see where the conversation takes us. So my mom's name, her nickname was Sheena. Everyone used to call her Sheena in her family. And so that's why she's become Mama Sheena over here for us. And this channel was started as the back end of her passing. And so I really like to honor her lessons as I teach. She used to say that everyone has a price of entry. Everyone has a price. And some women will go to bed with a man over a compliment. That's their price. Some women will go to bed with a man over a drink. That's their price. Some women will go to bed with a man for dinner. That's their price. Some women will play games and make a man wait a month or 3 months. That's their price. And some women will go to bed with a man only if they have a ring on their finger. And some women will only go to bed with a man if they are married and they have a house and they're being provided for. And she said, none of that is wrong. It's just your price. And that's who Sheena was. She would say the most like direct things in the most nonchalant way. And you would be left like, wait, what? Can you say that? Like, we used to be so embarrassed, be like, Mom, you can't say that. But she did. And that's the truth. The truth is, whatever you set your entry of requirement, whatever you decide you are worth, whatever you decide what you require, what you need, whether it's wrong or right, doesn't matter. This isn't debate class. It's just that's what you're going to get. So then getting upset later and saying, well, how come she got this, this, and this, but I only got this? It's because that's what you required. That was your requirement of entry. That's what you said. Just buy me a drink and I'm yours. Or just date me for 3 months and I'm yours. I'll give you a title. You can be my boyfriend. I can be your girlfriend. Nothing wrong with that. But just that's what you're deciding. That is what you're choosing. And that if that works for you and you're happy, like I will be cheering you on. Like, congratulations, I'm so happy. However, if you are like exhausted from things not working, if you're like, this is not working for me, I played the nice girl, I did this and this and this, I let them test me out, I like waited and waited and waited, it's not matching what I desire, then we have to think of another way. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of obsessed with results. I've shared this before. I'm a Sagittarius, fire sign, really impatient. I have the Huntress gene. I like results. And so I look at history and I say, well, what worked? How are we wired? What has evolution traditionally done? And I'm a modern girl too. I can twist things and I can make a template out of something. But I first like to start with, how were we doing this back in the day? And what that does for me is give me sort of a something, it's like a launching pad. It's something to launch off of. And what I have found is that the closer we can be to how we're actually wired and then add a modern twist to it, that's going to get me the best results. So let's just cut to the chase. What do you actually desire? What do you desire? When you know what you desire, then we can work at what is the shortest, quickest, most results-driven path to it. Like, what is it, right? When I was looking to get remarried, you guys know my mom was just diagnosed with cancer. I didn't have very much time. She wanted to see me married and happy. I didn't have time to go study philosophy and debate people. So when I had people in my life saying, this is never going to work, or this is too dangerous, I didn't have time to even have a conversation with them because my mom was dying. So I said, look, this is how they've done it based on our evolutionary history. This is how the cultures that haven't evolved out of that are still doing it. They have a very, very, very small divorce rate compared to what's happening here. I'm just going to try it that way. What do I have to lose? I'm trying to make my mom happy, right? And so that has really just stuck with me. I didn't make anyone wrong. I didn't have time to make anyone wrong. Like, is this registering for you? I didn't have time to debate my friends and family. I didn't have time to debate, like, how, like, rebuttal with people. I didn't have time to give people philosophy. I didn't have time to stop and say, well, let me teach you what I'm actually doing. I didn't have time. My mom was dying. She was given 2 months. She did live 2 years after this, but she was given 2 months. And so I just set out to business. And this has been a game changer for me because that's how I pretty much live my life. I don't make anyone wrong for doing it their way. Everyone gets to do it their way. We've all been given this life and we all have the ability to live it any way we want to. And I'm just going to do it the way that I know how to do it, the way that makes sense to me based on evolutionary history and everything I've learned and studied. And that's how I'm going to do it. And you don't have to come with me. You don't have to co-sign with me. You don't have to agree with me. That's how I'm going to do it. And it's a very much holding of an energetic boundary within me of like, this is my life and this is what I'm trying and this is what I'm going to do. And the last 16 years of my life speaks for itself, because every single thing I've touched has turned into gold. Now, in that reel that went viral, it was so interesting. People were like, well, don't you think this had to do something with the fact that your dad was rich? And I'm like, you just found me today from a viral reel. How do you know that my dad was rich? He wasn't. It's just funny to me because people have so much time to make excuses. They have so much time to want to get into debate. I'm so glad that God just didn't give me that kind of time. He was just like, just go do it. Just go do it. Almost the biggest awakening from your teachings is that we are romance. If you want romance, then be the romance in your marriage or relationship. Yes. It's like, I'm going to be a rock and a wall, but you have to romance me. Like, that's not how it works. I love that. I love how people just like assume things because they see you now. But the truth is that I just don't have time for nonsense in my life. I'm always in movement. I'm always creating momentum. I don't stop and debate people. I don't make anyone wrong. I think everyone should do it their way. But the people that like to do it, like they're inspired by my journey, I just wanted to put it in a book for you, and I did. Do you have to follow this book? No, you don't even have to read this book. You don't even have to watch this video. You are a powerful person that gets to choose where you invest your time, energy, your money, your resources, your attention. You get to choose, right? But I've got it in here in case Alina wants to read it one day, in case my sons want to learn the feminine perspective, in case some other person wants to read it. That's it. Justine said, some realizations when I saw the states of womanhood in your book and the requirements for marriage, I knew I didn't have the time to wait for a man to change to finally get the life I desire. Yeah. I think one of my biggest superpowers is that I'm very impatient. So I'm not going to sit around, wait for everyone to change and everyone to agree and all the stars to align. I wish I was like that. I'm just not. Like, I look at women that will wait on a man for 15 years, 20 years, and I'm like, bravo, bravo. God just didn't make me that way. I love people enough to let them be where they're at. I don't know, my heart is where I'm like, I love you and I'm doing this. I love you. I hope you find someone that's the perfect match for you. I'm doing this. There's no hate. There's no resentment. There's no, you have to come with me. I love you. And this is what I get to have. Okay. The next thing, I've got like lots of savage things to tell you guys that I'm just going to say. So let me tap into the next one. Take a sip. Okay. So in evolutionary science, and this is probably no shock to you, probably know this already. We know that the most dangerous man to a woman, so 34% of homicides against a woman are committed by men that they're in relationship with. So we know that evolutionarily speaking, historically speaking, men can be dangerous. The wrong man with the wrong temper, a man that suspects infertility was the #1 reason for women being killed by men in relationships. Like, this is risky business. So my #1 advice for all women is do not do this by yourself. In our evolutionary history, in cultural history, we've never dated and chosen our partner by ourselves. Now, I know a lot of women have rebuttals against this, and we can address that. We can talk about this. If you have questions, put them in the chat. Now's the time to ask me, okay? But here's the thing. Every time I look at any situation, I look at any data, I look at anything that's happening now or before, I notice that the women that are they're like opening themselves up to men by themselves alone are at risk. And this is not cultural. Let me tell you, Pakistani, Indian, and Middle Eastern girls that are dating by themselves, their families are not involved, they're coming across the same type of predator men that you are. So this is across cultures because this is nature. It's human nature. When a woman shows up on a golden platter serving herself up, and she's got no family protecting her, no one looking out for her, she's at risk. So here's what I'm going to say. Even if you don't have family backing you up, lie. Pretend. I just said it. I'm just gonna be in my mama bear energy right now. Like, my children know, like, when they were little, I'll give you guys the full story. You know, when your kids are in kindergarten and the teachers start talking about like stranger danger and all these types of things, and they want to come home and discuss it with you. So my children would come home and they would want to discuss like fire drills and what to do in this situation, and what if someone they know is putting them in an uncomfortable situation. And there were a lot of conversations that I had, and I told my children point blank that if you feel like you're at risk, lie. You have your mama's permission to get out of the situation where you feel you're in a nasty situation, God forbid, and even if you have to lie. Lying is bad. You should tell the truth, all the things. However, I don't care what's the right thing to do if your security is at risk, or if you're in a nasty situation. So you know that my number one rule of integrity is I would never give anyone advice other than what I would tell my own children, even if you don't like me for it. I don't care if you hate me for it. I don't care if you're triggered. I'm sorry you clicked into this video, but I'm going to tell you what I would tell my kids. So when women come to me and they're like, but Mina, I don't have any family, I tell them, lie. Pretend like you do. Okay? Pretend like you have a big family and people are looking over you, and everything has to go through your brother and your brother-in-law and your dad. Okay? Whoever the actual men are in your family, even if they're not involved, pretend. And if you can, start doing certain things to get these people on board. You might have to coach your family a little bit. That's okay. Let me newsflash, I had to coach my dad a little bit, okay? I had to coach some of my uncles because love them, but they can get into all kinds of weird political debates that are inappropriate and they trigger people. We're not trying to do this when this is about my marriage. And so when you show up, whether it's like with a matchmaker or it's on dating websites, which I'm not a big fan of. I know I met my husband on a website, but things were different back there, okay? Back then, 16 years ago, things were different. And this was a marriage site. It was not a dating site. Big difference. Big difference, okay? And so in this site, you actually tagged whether you created the site, or whether your family created it. By the way, I created the website. It said that my family created it. I lied. And I do it again. I would lie for my safety over and over again because I'm not about to trigger predators out there. Because when a man will see a woman by herself, she's got, oh, no one's looking out for her. Okay, no man around, no dad around, no brother around, no one looking out for her. This is what they do. It's human nature. Not all men are like that, but there's enough that are where you need to protect yourself. This is what I would tell my daughter. So I'm not going to tell you anything different, right? People get all worked up. They're like, oh my God, she's telling women to lie. Yeah, if your safety is at risk, boo, you do whatever you need to do to get out of there. Okay, I will support your decision. Okay, because men are, what is it, 16 times strong, whatever the testosterone levels are. I think they have 16 times more testosterone than we do. Okay, and by the way, chimps have, I think, 20 times more testosterone, something like that. I'm blanking out on the numbers than the strongest man, human man. And like, if you put him in a ring with the 10 strongest human beings, he will rip them to shreds. So the fact that we think that we can just show up on websites and go home with a man, you are putting yourself at risk. And so you need to make sure that you are protected. And no, a whole bunch of single women are not your tribe. I'm so glad that you have single female support, but that just makes all of you like, that's like, ooh, there's more. So you have to make it look like that you are from a very strong family behind you who are looking out for you. And if you can, by any means necessary, get that to be true. Get that to be true. But if you absolutely cannot, because I hear all kinds of stories, I hear you, I see you, then lie. But don't put yourself out there on a golden platter telling every man that you live by yourself, you don't talk to your dad, You haven't spoken to your brother in 16 months. No, no, that is dangerous. Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying, because I'm telling you that I'm just gonna say it. I usually save this kind of stuff for my programs because I know people get triggered and they twist my words, but we need to just say it for what it is. Okay, you want to hate me, you want to twist my words, go for it. Like, I'm too old for this shit. I'm not gonna take it personally. Okay, let's see. I think I said that one. I got the confirmation that I am in the season of learning. And though it can be hard to go against the mainstream, I am exactly where I'm meant to be. Beautiful. Yes, we are counterculture now, right? Apparently, tradition is no longer tradition. There was this episode of, I think it was a couple seasons ago in Married at First Sight, where the dad was mad because she was trying to do an arranged marriage and Married at First Sight. And he was saying, you're going against trigger. And I was like, huh? It was traditional to marry the way. It was traditional to get married the way that she's doing it. What kind of dad would be like, no, just sleep around with him first? And what? Like, people are so twisted now. Thank you for this. Trust my experience. She's right. It's very dangerous, and someone that don't want to let your friend and family and make you away from them is very dangerous. So yeah, don't ever tell a man that you just met that you don't talk to your dad, or your dad's an alcoholic, or that's another thing from my culture. Oh my God, I'm just gonna say it all today. So in my culture, one of the things that's frowned upon by the newer generation is I found to be gold advice. So a lot of the newer generation in my culture is like, oh, you know, family tells us to keep our secrets and don't air our dirty laundry and blah, blah. And I used to kind of be like, yeah, like, why do they say this? I agree with them now. I agree with my culture because I think it's oversharing. If you just met a man, you don't know this person, and you're telling him that your dad's an alcoholic and your mom doesn't talk to you and you haven't spoken to your brother, like, he's gathering notes about your family, your situation, and that no one's gonna notice if you go missing. Or no one's gonna notice if he just like uses you and then dumps you. There's no accountability on him. Why would we want to share this kind of stuff? And I don't know, there was like this twisted thing of like just sharing our truth. There's a sharing your truth, and then there's just being plain dumb. This is being dumb. This is being dumb. Hi, Mina. Who should help you decide and pick your partner? And after how long of knowing the potential partner should you introduce them to your family? All of this depends. So who should decide is, I believe, as many people as possible. So for me, I ruled out my single friends. So I had my parents, I had my cousins, I had my happily married friends, and then I had my divorced and single friends. I'm sorry, but I had to rule out the divorced and single friends because they were giving me the hot mess advice that made no sense. It made no sense, and they did not have the results to back it up. Maybe some of it was true, but they didn't have the results to back it up. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I did not have enough time. Some of you guys have years to debate stuff and test things. I did not have that luxury. So I just went ahead and followed the advice of my closest friends and family members that had the results that I wanted. And my married friends, they were gold. So these were happily married couples that understood marriage on a multi-dimensional way. So they weren't all like roses and butterflies. Like, these were couples that knew what a real marriage looks like. They knew the ups and downs of a marriage. They knew that you have to do inner work in a marriage. These were the women. So one of my closest friends at the time, his oldest sister and brother-in-law, I had other married friends too, but they became my number one couple friend because to help me through this process. They were so good. They were so happily married. They had two beautiful children. The wife could look at a picture of a guy. I would say, okay, my mom's introducing me to this guy, or I'm talking to this guy. And she just had this sixth sense. She was Pakistani. She just had this sixth sense. And the second that she saw Irfan's picture, she had like 5 of them. And she goes, this is the one. Let's meet this one. And so my husband met my best friends, He met my parents. He met these couples. There were a couple other couples. They were more newly married, but he met them. And I listened to everyone. Like as soon as their phone would leave, I would call back up or meet up with them, and I would say, okay, give it to me. And they were very brutally honest. They're like, this, and this is good. This is something that I'm a little concerned with. Can you live with this? Is this going to be okay? I could see a personality clash with this thing and with this thing. And so I would say as many people as you can. A whole bunch of single women don't count. I'm so sorry. I love you guys. I have nothing against single women. Single women are not very good at noticing certain things. I say this with the most love and good intention in my heart. I want to have a variety of age groups in your tribe, in your I'm actually putting together a video for you guys called my pre-dating game plan. And in that game plan, one of the things I want to share is that you should have some elders in your group. So some people that are like grandparents age, there's a boat. I have to film this. Sorry, I just love seeing boats. Okay, I have to show you this. Okay, look. No big deal. Sorry, I just think that's so cute. Okay, so some people that are elders, some people that are happily married, but like around your age group, you want to have aunts and uncles, maybe people you met at church, a few people, like, you know what I mean? Like a good blend of people. Okay, these don't have to be all family members. They could be church people. They could be colleagues that are, and here's number one thing. Happily married people love supporting other people. Have you noticed this? That when you see a couple that's happily married and you're like, hey, I love the way that you interact with your partner. Like, I want to learn more. They will drop everything and help you. Have you noticed that? Like, I have noticed that so much. And my son is really good at this. My oldest one, he will walk up to people, like our friends and people, and he'll say, oh, I love how successful you are in this thing. Can you give me advice? Do you have any advice for me? Like he used to go up to people when he was like 13, 14, and he would say, oh, I see that you've traveled the world and you've done this and this. I'm 13. Would you have any advice for me? And he was so cute. Like, do that. Do that. Thank you, Blow Up Guru. I appreciate your super chat. And when you should introduce, I would say when marriage is placed on the table. So when he starts talking about either proposing or he proposes, that would be the time to introduce. Here, let me tell you guys a little secret. When a man proposes, you do not have to accept the proposal right away. So when my husband proposed to me, and I did this with some of the other men that had proposed before my husband in my rotation as well, I said, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so flattered. And I would love to accept this proposal as long as my family accepts it first. So you can totally accept the proposal contingent on your family accepting the proposal. And of course, my husband was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I'll meet with your dad. And, you know, he had to go through a certain process. So you don't have to accept the proposal on the spot. This really hits home for me as I've been here on my own. My family is in Eastern Europe and my dad passed away. So babe, I'm so sorry for your loss. And I know it can be really hard when you're living away from your family. That's why I know I get a lot of pushback. People judge me all the time for telling women to lie. My intentions are good. When your security is ever at risk, if you were my daughter, if you were my sister, if you were my mother, I would say you are vulnerable being a woman by yourself, lie. Or actually find someone where you live that can be your surrogate family. Like join church groups, like find older happily married couples, find like pastors, find people that are wanting to support you on this journey. Do not do this by yourself. You will open yourself up to predators. And you guys know I'm not about the fear mongering, any of that. This is just reality. This is just reality. There's a very famous psychologist, God Sod, his name is, and he was talking about how 70% of, like, the video was titled the most dangerous a woman will ever meet, it's a man. It's a man she's in a relationship with, a man that she's dating, a man she's married to. So the truth is that when there's a tribe backing us up, when men know that there's consequences, the good men don't get scared of that because they're good men. The bad men, they don't want to deal with you when they have to deal with other people. So yes, you're going to have less men, but they're going to be better quality. This is all about quality. It's not about quantity. Kristen said, I was surprised to see my older male family members I hadn't spoken to in years instantly show up and support me as I was getting married. Yes, it's in our DNA. It's in our DNA. And they don't have to be perfect. Like I've had people saying, oh, but my dad is this. My dad wasn't perfect. I had to coach him a little bit. I had to say, Dad, like, this is important for me. This is what I need you to do. This is what I need you to say. Can you please not bring like the politics into this? So can you like keep this thing out of it? Sometimes you have to coach people a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. My dad was not perfect, but I know that he had a father's genome inside of him. His DNA was activated. He wants to protect his children, of course. Okay. Free Spirit said 100% agree with this. Men will alter their behavior accordingly. Experience this firsthand. Protect yourself. Yep. Even if you have less suitors left, good riddance. Good riddance. Did you guys see that story, that study where they interviewed convicted serial killers and rapists? And what they did is they showed them pictures of various women and they asked them, who would you choose as a victim? Like, who would be your first choice as a victim? And they showed them many like pictures and videos and things like that. And 100% of the time, the people that they chose had trauma in their background, the women that they chose. So I wrote about this in my book. Some people are actually demons in human form. Their God self is not activated. There's no light in them. They're demons. And they're very animalistic in their nature. There's an animal part to all of us, right? But these people, they can smell prey. It's just like, you know, if you're, God forbid, in the ocean, you don't want to be bleeding because the sharks will smell you and come. It's like that. So when you show up with trauma in your past, which again, I have trauma in my past, I had to heal it, right? And I had to protect myself with men around me, family around me. Even if it's like my friend's husband, like they know they've got men to deal with if they're dealing with me. I've got a shield around me. Have you noticed that in Pakistani Indian weddings, when the bride is coming out, she's held by, there's four men holding the thing above her head? Why do you think that is? Those 4 or 5 men are representing a shield around her of protection. That's why they're holding. Let me know in the chat if you've seen this. They're representing that this woman that we're handing over to you, she's not alone. Okay, where you are accountable to all of us. If there's any harm done to this woman, that's what that's representing. So predators can smell trauma on you. Predators, and then you're going to show up and tell them my family lives in another country. My dad's an alcoholic. Like, no, keep that shit to yourself. I'm sorry, but this is not information that you should be advertising. Don't lead with that stuff. Okay, let me see what else you're saying. Dear Mina, I just catch you live and want to thank you for your work. Thank you, Alma. Since I've known you, I've come from long-term girlfriend to a wife with a paid-off house and only receiving princess treatment from him. Congratulations, Alma. That makes me so happy. Yes, yes, yes. Yes to manifesting all the things. Hi, Mina. I just ended things with my boyfriend last week. What are the top 3 things you recommend I do to get married in the next year? P.S. Just bought Get the Ring. Okay, perfect. So you're armed with all the tools. Okay, so the first thing I wanted you to do is I want you to clean up little bits of residue of trauma or inflammation or anything that will open you up to negative energy or age you in any way. So I know this is going to be weird advice, but just go with me. Just trust that I've researched this and I know enough. I'm putting together a pre-dating game plan for you guys. So I'm sharing some of this from. Stop eating any foods that inflame you. You might have to study this a little bit. I love the carnivore diet. I'm a big believer in this. But whatever diet will not inflame you. There is a term coined by a very famous doctor. I'm blanking on his name. If you know, let me know, called aging or something like that. Basically, the foods that we eat, like they can inflame you. There's foods that I can eat that in 1 week will make me look 10 years younger or 10 years older, right? Like food can either be poison in our body, neutral in our body, or medicine in our body. So when we eat things that remove inflammation, several things happen. One, you glow, you look younger. Okay. Secondly, you'll have more fat in your hair, and that's something subconsciously that triggers youthfulness and it makes men attracted towards us. The other thing it will do is your gut microbiome will start shifting and you'll start looking and glowing younger. And also the gut microbiome will send different signals to your brain. Your moods will change. Your energy will change, which will then attract a different level of person to you. So one thing is start taking care of your energy, your gut microbiome, look into the carnivore diet, like start cleaning up your life, okay? Second thing is energetically remove anything from your space that even reminds you about being a girlfriend, not like whatever, like things from exes, clean them out. Old stories, clean them out. Like now you're a wife, okay? You are a wife. If I was to come and take a field trip into your house right now, your house should be energetically a 5D vision board. I should be able to walk into your house and see that you are ready. So what I had done, I had a condo at this time that I was manifesting my husband, and I had cleared up closet space, even though he was not going to move in with me. Hell no. But energetically, I was like, okay, I can't be taking this whole closet to myself. I need to energetically make space for this person. So I cleaned off half the closet. I bought an extra toothbrush and put it in my bathroom, even though, again, he's not going to move in with me, but I'm energetically putting myself into the white space. I got rid of anything from my ex. Like I cleaned out anything that the house couldn't have the energy of like divorced single mom. Like the house needed to have the energy of like wife, right? Like wife, like spoiled queen. And so energetically, I'm going to want you to start cleaning house, okay? The third thing you're going to do, and this is the most important, well, they're all important, is get your counsel in place. Who is going to be your dating counsel? And again, these cannot all be single women. In fact, the less single women you have in your counsel, I love you, single woman, but they will lie to you. They will oftentimes tell you things just to make you feel good, and they're not good at judging men. Older people, especially older men, are very good at judging men. In fact, I can't tell you how many times my son, who's 20 now, but even when he was 13 and 14, would warn me about people and I would not listen to him. And then that person would do something super shady. And he would say, Mom, I told you. I don't know what it is about men. They have a different level of judging other people than women do. Okay. We go into our compassion, our empathy. We want to look at the good in people. We want, yeah, you need some men in your counsel as well. Counsel of healthy married people, okay, of various ages. Get that counsel together. Start looking to places, church, temples, mosques. I would say go and do community service, go and volunteer, go where good-hearted people with open hearts hang out. Where do people with good hearts, giving, generous people live? Are these in your neighborhood? Make friends with them, make friends with your neighbors, get to know people. Get to know people. Okay, that would be my three biggest things. And I'll put that video together for you guys soon. Okay, let me see. Yeah, there are some people that are not actually people. I believe that. And I know that's kind of a scary thing to say, but some of the things happening on the planet right now, that's not humans. I'm sorry. Those are demons. Hi, Sandra. Welcome to Level Up Queens. No one gives this advice, Mina. Thank you. Thank you. This all of I've said this before, I'll say it again. All of this content has already been put into my will, and it's going to be given to my children and my grandchildren. So by nature, I cannot say anything in these videos that I wouldn't want my children and grandchildren listening to. So it keeps me in check. It keeps me from wanting to people please and tell you the right thing that you want to hear, tell you the thing that's going to give me the least amount of hate or the least amount of haters, because I'm not going to risk the information that I'm giving to my descendants by lying to you. I'm just going to tell you the truth, because my children, it's like literally written in my will that they're going to inherit all of this content. Sandra said, hi, Mina. Thanks to you, I got the ring. Congratulations. However, my fiance is making excuses not to get married. He says he doesn't trust me. I'm not sure if this is some inner work I have to do or is his issue. Okay, so obviously if I had bigger time to coach you, here's what I want to say before I give you anything here. A lot of times when you're asking me a question where I don't have the full context, I have to do the best of my ability to tell you from just like, it's like expertise plus intuition. But when you're in a coaching container or in a group mentorship, I can have more context and I can go deeper. So please take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, because even my private clients, they're like, oh, this is very different than what you say on YouTube. I'm like, yeah, because I know your whole situation. So in your situation, I can customize it. So what I would, if this was me, I would say I really respect your decision. However, as you know, I want to be a wife, and I'm going to give you, I'm going to give us 6 months and to sort things out, whether we need to go to therapy or counseling or get a coach or talk to a pastor or talk to my parents or your parents. I'm going to give us 6 months. And if in 6 months we don't have a date, I will have to go back and start rotational dating again, which is what I was doing. Like, I want to be a wife. You could say 3 months, 6 months, whatever comes naturally. I know for me, that wouldn't have worked, because now I have a shut up ring, but I still don't have a wedding date. So, you don't have to make him wrong. I don't think anyone that disagrees with me or wants something different is wrong, but I also am entitled to make life decisions for myself that work for me, while respecting that you get to have what you want to have, and this is what I desire. So I'm not someone that's going to wait around 100 years on a man. Like, if he doesn't trust you, go to therapy. Like, let's keep the thing moving. I'm not someone that sits around. You guys know I don't have that kind of energy. So think of a good time frame and tell him you respect his decision. He deserves to marry someone that he trusts. And if that's not you, then that's not you, girl. Because there's someone out there that's gonna trust you. And marriage does require trust. Now, let's talk about trust for a second, shall we? We're just doing all the things today. Oh my God, Kira. She said, I just made it here. Better late than never. Happy birthday, Lady Balls. Happy birthday. Oh, holding it backwards. My baby. My baby. Let's talk about trust. So from an evolutionary perspective, men and women evolved to trust differently. So the way trust is metabolized in a male system is if someone consistently shows up for them over a period of time, even if that person is not showing up right, they will trust that person. That's like the go-to male system. Of course, there's some variations, exceptions to the rule, but that's the go-to male system. So what that looks like is, have you ever experienced where your brother, your son, your husband, someone your dad, is friends with someone that does not make any sense? And you're like, Dad, why are you friends with that guy? Or to your husband, why that guy is trouble. Why are you friends with him? Whatever. And they're like, oh, he's been with me for 20 years and he's a great guy and he's going through a hard time. That's how men trust. They look at the entire history of someone and then they make a judgment and they stick to that judgment for a really long time. And I could teach a whole course on this, but there's a whole evolutionary reason for this, okay? Women are different. Because women are the more vulnerable gender, we didn't have the luxury of trusting someone based on how they've been. So women trust on a moment-to-moment thing. So let's say, Sandra, let's say that you're a man and you have been showing up right by me for 10 years. But today you're showing up a little funky. My trust is going to start to dwindle. Now, I can use my consciousness to make excuses and say, oh, well, you know, he has been good to me for 10 years. And well, I can do that as a conscious person. But all of a sudden, my body, my nervous system is going to be like shutting down. All of a sudden, I might not be sexually attracted towards you. All of a sudden, I might be like, oh, like, don't touch me. Or you're just like, I don't like the way you chew right now. Like, stop chewing that way. Like, it's going to start showing up in my energy. Why? Because we were the more vulnerable gender, we spent a lot of time being pregnant and dealing with young babies. We couldn't take that risk. So even if someone was right by us for many years, if they're showing up super weird today, that was a red flag in our consciousness. Because the question we would be asking is, are you okay right now to support me and protect me? If a lion showed up, are you going to be weird and like not protect me? Are you going to be like distracted? Are you in your right mind? Or are you going to still look out for me? So for women, trust is like a moment to moment thing. I had to like explain this to my husband because he would be like, I can't have a bad day. I'm like, you can't have a bad day, but don't expect me to be like trusting you in that moment because my DNA is like standing up going, that looks like unruly testosterone that's out of control, and unruly out of control testosterone can get me killed, evolutionarily speaking. My DNA is on high alert. So yeah, you can have a bad day, but my DNA is going to be on high alert. Like that's just the fact, right? So we had to like learn to navigate that together, and now we laugh about it, but in the beginning ages of our marriage, in the beginning days, I had to explain this to him that yeah, have a bad day, but I got my eyes on you. Okay. So trust is metabolized differently in men and women. Mina, if a man is marriage minded, what is the time frame that he should introduce you to his family on average? Should you meet them before the proposal? It just depends, babe. It's not, there's no shoulds. Okay. So I would say because you're keeping yourself dating, you're not attached. Once men know this and they are wanting to get you off the market, and the only way to get you off the market is to actually have a ring on your finger and a wedding date planned, he's going to be moving things along faster anyway. So you can meet him. Like my husband's family lived all over the United States. So I did not meet them until yeah, actually, I didn't meet my husband's family like actually in person until after we got married. But they had spoken to my parents and my aunts and uncles and all the stuff on the phone many, many times. So yeah, so we traveled to go meet them after we got married. It's just gonna be different. I would say though, is take it whenever he wants to introduce you, take him up on the offer. You should be looking at his family, how they treat each other, how they speak to him, what's their relation. Like his family can reveal so much information about him, so much information about where he comes from. So whenever he wants to, take him up on it. Mina, speaking of trust, any thoughts on dating men who say they have a girlfriend when we don't even believe in girlfriends in our paradigm? Okay, so I would not date a man that has a girlfriend because he's not dating for marriage. He's already in a weird situation, right? Like he's committed, sort of, kind of, hopefully in his mind. Like, I don't know, right? So when I was rotational dating for marriage, courting, right? Irfan was also doing the same. All the men in my rotation were also dating that way. So none of this was like, oh my God, why are you dating multiple? They were all like, we want to get married. And to me, I felt safer knowing that all these men are also dating other women because I wanted to know that the man that I say yes to has looked at all the other options and he's sure that I am the one. Like, I want to know that he looked at everything else that was out on the market for him as a potential partner, and I am the one. And if I'm not the one, I will be dancing at his wedding. Like, good for you. Find the one for you. No hard feelings from me. But if someone already had a girlfriend, that sounds a little weird to me. If right, Kabibi, I don't know. That hits weird. Yeah. Because it's like, why do you have a girlfriend and then you're still dating? Like, right? Like, what's happening? Does that woman know that you're dating someone else? She thinks she's gonna get the ring, right? So that's a little weird. To me, that would be a big red flag. Yeah. Yes, Sharina said just because we don't believe in girlfriend doesn't mean he doesn't believe in girlfriends. For him, he's in a relationship and trying to see if you'll be the other woman. Yeah. I would say, why not just get your girlfriend a ring? Like, why are you looking, right? Because if he was courting for marriage, he wouldn't have had a girlfriend. Placeholders, yes. Yes. This is why this work is so important. This is why, right? Now, that reel I told you guys that went viral and brought in all these new people into my world, like, so, oh, she's just like trying to sell courses and this and that, blah, blah, right? Here's the thing. I have over 1,000 free videos on YouTube. Okay. I have no monetary gain from people doing whatever they're going to do in their life. Like, it doesn't benefit me if people go become someone's girlfriend or not become a girlfriend or sleep with men before marriage. None of it benefits me. None of it hurts me. Like, I could be indifferent, right? There are people, hundreds of people who started their entire businesses from my free content from YouTube. So this means something to me. This is the advice that has changed my life. It's changed my family's life. This is the advice that I give to my own children. People that come in suspicious, like, go do you. Like, it doesn't, like, I don't have an agenda for you, whether you should sleep with a man or not sleep with a man. That's your body. You have to decide, right? I'm just sharing what I know from my expertise, from my experience. Just one woman on the internet sharing her story. So the people that come in like, oh, she's just, it's like, go, like, there's free content. Why? I have had coaches that demanded that I stop doing live streams on YouTube and giving away so much of my content. They were like, why would you give up? Like, you could charge for this. I'm like, because I want to. Because I want to. I wanted to share it. Like 99% of the people on here probably haven't even bought. Like, let me tell you, we only have 40,000 paid students. And I'm saying only, of course, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. However, considering that I have about 500,000 followers across all platforms, I've gotten over 300 million views across all platforms. That's not a lot of people. Most of the people got so much out of my free content. It changed their life that they never even needed to buy a course. So I'm hoping that women who feel like they can't find the person because it's so hard, because men keep ending up using them, or marriage is so difficult, or having kids is difficult, that they get enough from my free content. They don't have to buy a course. You don't need me. You don't need me. I'm just here to show you that your desires are valid. Your desires are valid. And there are other ways of doing things than how you've been told. Try it out. See if it works for you. If it doesn't work, if it works better for you to become someone's girlfriend, absolutely do you. Because no one else's advice should overwrite your internal knowing. I wrote that in my book. I said, truth test everything I'm saying, because you know what's best for you. My advice is for people who have tried everything else and they're like praying for another way, and then I show up in their field. Even then, everything I'm saying might not work for you. You might have to customize certain things. Thank you so much. I got your message. I'm part of the university bundle and I keep growing thanks to your knowledge. I thank God the day I came across your content. Thank you, Sandra. Oh my goodness, that means the world to me. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. The free videos are gold. You can change your entire mindset, personality for free from watching a couple of free videos. Absolutely. In fact, I had a meeting with one of the vice presidents of Thinkific, which is the platform that I host my courses on, which means every time I make money, they make money. And they were so impressed. They're like, we cannot believe how much free content you give. And I remember he was asking me, he said, is it possible that someone just binge watches all of your free content and doesn't even need your courses? I said, yes, there's many thousands of people that say that their entire life changed from just binge watching my free content. You never have to buy anything from me. That's not the point. The courses, the content, the books are for the top 10% people like me that are really into personal development, and we like buying courses. We like reading books. It's for the people that desire that stuff. Everyone doesn't have to buy. That's why I give so much free content. I'm not expecting that everyone's going to buy. I don't want everyone to buy. I want the people that already buy personal development stuff to be like, ooh, she's got paid stuff too. I want some. It's a different type of person. I know myself, when I land on someone's free content, I'm not the type of person that will binge watch all their free content. I'll watch a couple videos and go buy their entry-level offer and then quickly to the biggest offer that they have. It's personal development is for a certain type of person that invests in courses and education and books. It's a different audience, but everyone else doesn't have to. That's not the point. I have so much you can take what works, leave the rest, your life will be changed. Your free videos give us enough information to level up and to afford your courses. Exactly. And even if you never buy, that's okay too. There are people that they just needed the free information. There are thousands of people out there that have started their entire businesses just from my free content. That gets written in my barakat. I'm not mad about that. I told you guys about barakat in my book. Like, I still get paid for that. Even though they didn't pay me, I get paid from the divine. Hi, Mina. Now I'm curious, what do you see are the top 3 things that keep women in their late 20s single and unmarried? Their limiting beliefs would be number 1. I just shared a video on this, actually, a recorded video. It was my last video before this one, called 3 foolproof ways to have multiple proposals. Number 1 is limiting beliefs. Number 2 is culture around them, like what they're plugging into. If you have a whole bunch of single people or unhappily married people or whatever giving you conflicting advice, women are very much, like all of us are impacted from the morphogenetic field, but women are more so. We're evolved to be more agreeable. So I would say number 2 is that. So limiting beliefs, the wrong people around them, giving them the wrong advice. And then the third thing I would say is lack of this information that I'm giving you. That's why it's free. I've got, I think on this channel alone, over 900 videos. And then I have the other channel as well, because people just need the information and I'm just giving it. Those I would say are the 3 biggest ones. Even if they have the information, if they don't work on the limiting beliefs, it's not going to work, babe. The subconscious is just going to sabotage you. It's going to pull you down. Yeah. Okay, ladies, I so appreciate you guys supporting this channel with the membership. I have that other pajama party coming up soon too that I'm going to schedule. What I want to do to add to the celebration is open up the chat to all the subscribers as well, but I will try to take your questions first because I, of course, do appreciate you guys joining the membership. But I want to just see if anyone else also has any questions. Some countries, unfortunately, don't allow them to join. And I know some people really want to, but they can't. Okay. All right. So I'm going to open it up and see what is coming up. So babes, I just opened it up. So let's start with talking about key takeaways from our beloved Lady Balls. What were your key takeaways? Also in celebration of her 1-year birthday, We did just lower her price as well, just so it's more accessible to people in various countries, because I know the price is adjusted based on the US price. So we lowered the price on the paperback, the Kindle. Audible doesn't let us control the price. Audible does it on their own. But we did the hardcover, the paperback, and the Kindle to make it more affordable for everyone. Congratulations, Mina. Can't believe it's been 1 year already. I know, right? It went by so quickly. I can't believe it either. Hi, Mary Jo. When do you know you've done enough inner work? You're dead. Because we're here to learn and grow. And so we're always going to be doing inner work. In evolutionary psychology, they say that the #1 sign of human health is our ability to form social connections and pair bond. So that's a good way to know. But I know I'll be doing inner work. I'll be growing. I'll be evolving until I'm dead. So that's how I'll know. It's like, okay, done, enough. Congrats. Being with you since 2013 and benefited from your work big time. Hi, Sarah. Thank you. Wow, that's a long time. This is the first time I got you online after 4 years of following you and learning from you. Oh my goodness, that's a long time. I'm so happy that you're here live. Congratulations, Mina and Lady Balls. Thank you. I feel like this is all of our baby that we created together, isn't she? All of like the core teachings are in here. What are your favorite chapters, favorite passages? Oh my God, I just discovered something today. I did not even know this feature was turned on, but today I went to my Amazon thing. If you go to ladyballsbook.com, you'll see like my author page, and I realized that it said that it showed the top things highlighted by other students, and it was very interesting. I actually took a picture of it. 300 people on Kindle highlighted, 303 people highlighted, inner work is the process of elimination, deconstructing, and then reconstructing ourselves to align with our desires. It's the gap between the metaphysical and the manifestation. I can't believe 303 people highlighted that. Okay, the other one was your 309 people highlighted this on Kindle. Your desires are divine directions to a different location and time space where something new and different is available for you. They do not need to be problem solved. Use your desires as previews of what's to come. Oh my God, I cannot believe that 309 people found this passage useful and highlighted it. I thought that was really special. Let me see what you guys are saying. What happened to my, okay. Yes, happy to be spending this time with you on 11/11. Hi, Mina. Thank you for all the value that you provide. Are you doing anything special manifestation practices that would recommend for the 11/11 portal? So the 11/11 portal is a identity, right? If you look at the way 11/11 looks, it's actually 3 doors. So it's the first door is that it's the first 11, and then the third door is the second 11, and then there's a door between the two 11s, right? Let me like visually show this to you guys. Right? Okay, let me see. I have my whiteboard, but I don't want to like pull it here. That's door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. And so to me, what it represents is my next identity. My next identity shift. What do I get to choose now? Who do I get to be next? Like, what's my next 10x? And I've already decided. I've already decided, and I've already received confirmation by that video going viral, tons of new people coming into my world. So things are moving along, giving me confirmation. Mina, appreciate your old videos too. So much transformation over the time to watch and connect with. Yes, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I do slightly regret deleting over 1,000 videos. I had a coach that thought I should delete like my keto videos and a lot of the rheumatoid arthritis stuff. I do kind of regret it because I think people would have enjoyed that content and seeing the transformation, but I'm not going to delete anymore. I learned my lesson from that. So I'm glad that you feel that way. I just realized that this is also 1 year anniversary of me following you and watching your content. I am definitely in a whole other power feminine goddess identity. Thank you. Oh my God, that makes me so happy. Happy anniversary. I really appreciate you. My brother-in-law's cousin recently proposed, but says he's waiting for my sister's wedding to pass before officially asking for my hand. How should I handle this? You don't handle it. Say okay, and then you keep your doors open, right? So he can or someone else can. Things like this, where they're just informing you, you don't have to do anything about that. What you don't want to do is like put all your eggs in the basket with him or stuff, get yourself off the market. Be like, okay, you can do whatever you want, right? That doesn't mean you're suddenly his girlfriend. It doesn't mean you're engaged. It doesn't mean you're waiting for him. It doesn't mean anything. How to find dates for rotational dating when the help of friends and family, even if I don't trust my family and their role model. Also, I don't live near them. Join meetup groups, hire a matchmaker, join Facebook groups, attend events, put yourself out there. Because right now, your message is very much like, this is why I can't. So, okay, we know why you can't. How can you? There's Facebook groups where you can interact with people. There's matchmakers, there's dating events, there's in-person events. I love like going to things that you're already into. So like, let's say that you're a guitar player, like going to events where there's other guitar players, like going places where it's easy to connect with people and have a conversation because they're into that thing as well. My biggest takeaway was the manifesting up versus manifesting down. Yes, I love that concept as well. In Lady Balls. You have 111 likes on this video. Of course, I have been seeing that number everywhere in the last 2 months. Like 1111 and 111 is stalking me. I just got your book in Ukraine. We don't have Amazon, so I had to do it from a buyer. Can't wait to read it. Thank you, Mina. Oh, awesome, babe. I'm so happy. Okay, so if you guys don't have Amazon, the book is also available in Barnes and Noble, or you can walk into any bookstore in most countries, because it's 40,000, I think, worldwide retailers. In most bookstores in your country, if you walk in and you say, hi, this is the name of the book, this is the title, can you please order this from Ingram Spark? So Ingram Spark does not let you, I'll put that name in the chat. It doesn't let you buy directly, like as a buyer. But if you walk into any local bookstore in your country, they can order it. Also, the way my book is registered, you can go to any library and they have the ability to order the book for you. So if you don't want to pay for it, you can walk into your local library, and if they decide to, they can order it. So we set it up where it's accessible. And I'm so happy that you were able to get it in Ukraine. Happy 11/11, everyone. Cannot believe it's been a year since I've discovered you and purchased Lady Balls. Oh my God. Yeah, I know time is just, I think Einstein time is so much different than Newtonian time, and it feels just surreal. I can't believe it. This is a 1, by the way. You can't, we're like really seriously celebrating over here. We can't fully see it. Thanks for the book. I realized the money limitation and even the food relationship and relationship to men was inherited from 2 women in my lineage of my grandma that were left alone during the war. Yeah, and as much as compassion we can have with them, you also get to be the line breaker. You get to be the one that breaks that generational history, that generational trauma. I love your savageness. Hey, Christina. Your health diet videos were the best. Yeah, I know. I do regret deleting them. Maybe I need to start doing them again. They're very triggering for people, but they are what they are. Maybe I need to do them again. Okay. Although I've backtracked and haven't leveled up yet, I have more knowledge and decide now to shift. Yep, you have all the information. Use this 11 portal to embody it. Perfect. We just get to start where we're at. Should I specify a nationality in my love list if I live in a multicultural country? I think you should base things on your desires and not on your country. Like in the last few days since that video has gone viral, if I hear someone's country and its limitations one more time, I might like throw up. People are really set on their country's limitations. So what is your actual desire? Because you can move countries, but your desire isn't going to necessarily change, right? I'm the type of person that's the exception to every rule. So are you that type of person, or do you like, oh, well, that's my country, so I guess I'm stuck? What kind of person are you? Who do you want to be? Could you please talk a bit more about your current anti-inflammation diet? I do intermittent fasting. I use the Zero app to track it. It's right here. It's been almost 4 hours since I opened my fast, so you can see it on there. And today's fast was 18 hours right there. You see that? So yeah, I do intermittent fasting. And since I moved into this house, I have been more doing like 90% carnivore and 10% paleo. In the old house, I was like very, very strict. I think living here, partying more, vacationing more, we just have more access to things here. I've gotten more into like 90% carnivore, 10% is still paleo though. I still have to be very careful with carbs. I'm very careful with, I have to still keep like my inflammation down. First of all, I look better and I feel better. My joints are better. My skin is better. My gut microbiome is better. So in the beginning, when you're healing, I would say you're going to have to be 100% strict with you. It's more about identity building. Now, 12 years in, I actually more than that. I started in 2012. For 12 years. Yeah, it is 12 years, right? 12 years in, I'm a little bit more like, yeah, lenient, but I don't love it all the time. Favorite quote from the book: in simple terms, your container is your energetic and emotional set point of how good you will allow your life to get. Oh, I love that. I've been contracting and expanding on the journey to the next level, trusting the process and moving with faith. Beautiful. I just moved, Lily said, never liked where I was back home, so I moved to a new country just this week. Congratulations, Lily. Beautiful. Oh, ladies, before I forget, I have to tell you guys something else. I have a special treat. I told you this is going to be a big month of celebrating because it's Lady Ball's birthday, my company's 7th-year birthday, and then it's my 44th birthday. So right now we're very much in celebrating Lady Ball's mode. All of this was like Lady Ball colors, all the things. And then on the 18th or the 17th, we moved gears into the company's November 17th is the company's 7-year birthday. So what I'm doing is I launched this free event. It's called Godly Money. And I'm going to be talking about building a life of abundance, wealth in all the ways. And even if you're on my email list, oh, it's not taking the whole thing. Let me delete this part. Let me do this again. So this, you have to register if you want to join. It's going to be on Zoom. It's not going to be on YouTube. Okay, it'll take it now. Here's the link for that. And it's also in the description box as the first link. And so if you want to join me on the 17th to celebrate the Universe Guru's birthday, the first course launch birthday, we're doing that as well. Also on the 18th, my email list subscribers, our once a year birthday sale will activate for the email list subscribers only. And that's 24% off all the courses for people that are ready to invest. And the only three things except like not included is going to be 99 Realm, all the things bundle, which is the new version of the university bundle, and Kainat membership mentorship will not be included. Everything else will be included in the 24% off. And then on the 25th, it will be active for all other subscribers. So social media, but the email list always gets early access. So you need to get on that list, and you can get on the list through subscribing for this class if you're already not on it. I love the different seasons of a woman's life. We get to have it all. Yes, 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 yes. I love that. Mina, have you tried Dr. Mindy Pearl's time? I have not. The way I've been doing it for 12 years has been working great for me. So if something's been working great, I tend not to mess with it too much. I watch a lot of her videos, and I think everything she's saying is correct, but I typically just like that consistency of doing it the way I'm doing, and I can listen to my body too. So I've been doing it for so long. Already signed up. Yay, Diana. Happy to have you. It's going to be a private event on Zoom. It's not going to be like open to the public. So you do have to register for that. Exactly. Thank you, Mina. I'm breaking all the lineage trauma. My parents chose the name Justine for me, which means justice. They call me to do the job. Absolutely. They were not playing around. You're the one. I feel like I backtracked as well, fell into self-sabotage loop for a while. Now thinking about redoing your courses I have. Any advice from apart from that? I would say re-choosing, like redeciding that now something gets to change. Like I self-sabotage too, and then I just get into it. Like I don't sit around saying, oh no, like it's just like fast moving momentum, keeping the momentum going. I just launch, I recommit, I redecide, I re-choose, I keep moving. Just moving forward. Today gets to be a new day. It's 11/11 portal. Like, what are we doing now? What's the new identity? What are your top 3 favorite chapters from Lady Balls? Ooh, okay. You're like turning it around and asking me? Okay, hold on. Let me see. I have to think about this. Let me look at the chapters. You're asking me to choose between my babies. Hard to choose. I think I love them all. I think the hardest one in the sense of like my own like humanness of like, is this is gonna trigger a lot of people, was the where I gave you guys the blueprint. That was the one where I could tell that this is gonna ruffle some feathers, but I cannot be in integrity if I didn't put that in there. So I think I can answer that way. Let me think though. I do love all of them. It would be very hard to choose. There were 3 chapters that didn't make it. I wanted to make sure that this book was very intentional, and I put everything that needed to be in it. There is another book that's been trying to come out of me, but it's not ready. Like how I know something's ready is that it gets really easy and it just flows out in downloads. This is a money book. The title's been written. Like I have certain notes that came through, but when I sit down to write it, it's not ready to come out. It wants me to wait. And the reason that it gave me, initially it didn't give me a reason why it wanted to wait. But then when it gave me, I was like, ouch. It said that when the answer came, this was about like 6 months ago, it said you haven't changed that much between this book and the money book. And the money book needs to be written from a completely like 100 times different version of me. And so I was like, okay, all right. So it's gonna be ready when I'm very different than who wrote this book. When I'm like eons different. I have 3 copies, Kabibi said. One I wrote notes all over, one clean copy, and the hardcover. Oh my God, I love you. That means so much to me. Thank you, Kabibi. That means a lot to me, especially because I'm like that with certain books where those books mean something to me and I have them, like The Secret, right? I have the DVD, I have the hardcover. I've bought maybe a dozen or 2 dozen of the paperbacks and given them to people. So that means a lot to me that my book is that book for you. Deciding again on who I am from now on and what I get to have. Thank you. Yes. Yesterday's gone. Where are we going today? I love the blueprint. Wish that knowledge was something I was taught as a kid. So happy to hear that, Paula. Oh my God, yesterday in this Facebook thing post, I saw people like kind of getting into it. And so this woman was like in her late 30s and she wrote something about like wanting to have kids and knowing that like she needs to get on it. And then this other woman was like, well, who says that you have to like have your kids now in your late 30s? Like, who made that rule up anyways? Like, and I'm thinking, like, I'm pretty sure God, because I mean, sure, there are some people that have their kids in their 50s, and there's some people that are able to do it in their 40s, but that's generally not the norm, right? Like, that's not like how the body has evolved. So I think I was wondering what this woman was thinking that wrote the original post, and now she's got this woman questioning her. But I don't think there's anything wrong to be in your 30s wanting kids and being like, okay, like I need to step this on. Like this is a priority for me, right? Everyone doesn't have to have kids, but if it's your priority, it's your priority. So saying that who made this rule up, like biology, science, God, that's how we're designed. So there is a lot of conflicting information right now. So like I hear you and I see you when you guys are like, oh my God, who to listen to? Listen to your heart. Listen to your knowing. Hiram said, as a first-time mom, what would be your tips on keeping happy and healthy? So I think this is going to be, it's one of those things that triggers people, but I'm going to say it. I found the biggest secret to being a good mom and a good wife is being a really happy Mina. I've noticed since my babies were little that when I'm happy, my kids would like glance at me and be like happy. And like I would catch them happy just because I'm happy. And that was such a big wake up call for me. So my secret is when I'm happy, my husband's happy, my kids are happy. When I was trying to be a good mom and a good wife, I wasn't happy, my kids weren't happy, and my husband wasn't happy. So I just switched it. I focus on what's something that's for the highest good of all. So me being happy serves me, it serves my husband, it serves my children, and it serves humanity because I'm literally helping people, right? So that's the hack. Stop trying to be a good mom and find the things that make you a joyful human person, that make you a spiritual person, that like really fill your cup up, because when your cup is full, you're naturally going to pour into your children. You're naturally going to pour into your husband. Mina, in business, I'm successful. However, how do I know if I want kids or not? I don't feel that desire. I'm engaged and I'm 38. I know I'm running out of time. So I would pray on it. If there's things I'm unsure about, I just say, God, is this something that you wanted to co-create through me? Is this something that you wanted to do? And if you do, please make it really clear. Here's why. I did not know this, but a lot of my students and my clients told me that they believed they didn't want kids until they found me. And they said that they thought it was just they didn't want kids. But what they realized after they found me is that they didn't have an example of someone living a really great life with kids. And all they saw around them was like people that were miserable and sacrificing energy with their kids. So they decided they didn't want kids without realizing that's where they got it from. So ask for guidance from God to make sure that this is your actual desire and not something that you're suppressing. And then whatever you decide from there, that's the right answer. Yes, please do health diet content again. I've just started carnivore inspired by you. Oh, awesome, Georgie. Here's some of my friends. Lisa D1 is a very fabulous YouTuber, one of my closest and dearest friends. Love you, girl. She does carnivore videos. And of course, let her know that I mentioned, that's how we actually found each other. It's because I mentioned her, my subscribers went and told her, and then she looked me up and she was like hooked on the videos. And she messaged me and said, oh, So we've become really good friends this year. Follow her. I also love, I like women that are either my age or a little bit older because I like to see like how they're aging with carnivore. So my low carb life, I think her name is, her channel name, she's my age. She's got 3 kids. She is one sexy hot mama. Um, I love Steak and Butter Gal. She's a baby. She's very young, but I love her story because she was a vegan, really struggling, lost her period. Skin was just, oh, she had so many skin issues, and she is glowing from the inside out. She just got married, super young. You guys are gonna love her. Dr. Ken Berry, of course, classic. There's also the guy that's creating the first carnivore documentary. Homestead something, he's amazing. His daughter was also a vegan, very, very sick. He was in deep depression. Carnivore helped them. Of course, Michaela Peterson is amazing. She has her own version of carnivore. It's called the Lion's Diet. You can check her out as well. Facebook is not the place for life advice. Yeah. Hi, Mina. So grateful for your work. I transformed a few years ago, created myself a free life of music and passion, always playing, literally. Now I would like to open to love. How to know I'm ready? You're ready. When the desire is there, you're ready. That's it. You're ready. Go and get it, babe. You get to have a full life. Don't over optimize just one area of your life, babes. We are multidimensional. We are the divine feminine. We get to have a lot of flavors to our life. And so a lot of times we keep our life small and over optimize just one thing, but you get to have a full life. I want to experience myself through many dimensions. I want to experience myself as a human, as a friend, as a mother, as a wife, as a teacher, as a mentor, as a rich girl, as a lady, as you know, I was a grandmother. I want to experience myself in different clothing. Just like we're like, I wonder what this shade of lipstick would look on me. I wonder what wealth would look on me. I wonder what love would look on me. I wonder what pleasure would look on me, right? Like try on different flavors. Happy wife, happy life is truth. Yes. We are the energy keepers of the household, so our energy needs to be on point. I needed to hear this with 3 littles. Oh, beautiful. Congratulations, gorgeous. Yes. Here's the thing. This was a big realization, and you might be thinking, duh, Mina, that's your big realization. But here's what I realized when my babies were little. This is before I even had Alina. When I just had my 2 boys, I realized they don't need a good mom. They want a great Mina. There's a big difference because if they just needed a good mom, then I could be replaced. You can take me out of the picture and put in a better mom. But my children would freak out because they don't want a good mom. They want the greatest Mina. They're mine. They want me, right? And they want a happy version of me. I know this because even when my littles were little tiny, like even before Ayan could speak, he's 14 now. Before he could speak, if I looked sad, he was concerned. He would come and he would like pat me and he would put his head in my, like they know, they can feel. And, you know, even as a teenager now, like when I'm watching a movie with them and I'm happy and I'm like screaming at the screen, like, no, no, don't go over there. You can see they're so happy, right? And I told you guys the story somewhere else, but I'll reshare it. So the other day we were watching a movie and I was like really getting into it. And I was like screaming at the screen and they were having a blast. The next day, we chose another movie and I wasn't feeling this movie, but I wasn't saying anything. I was still watching it with them. And Ayan kept saying, Mom, you don't like this one. You don't like, I'm like, no, it's okay. He's like, you don't like it. I'm like, how do you know? He's like, I can tell. So it matters that much to them that I am happy, I'm full, I'm in my pleasure. Now, that doesn't mean I'm like faking it, right? They see my full picture. My children hear me saying, I feel really overwhelmed today. I'm gonna work through this. Or that got me triggered. I'm sitting through, they know the process. Like, oh my God, I have to tell you this. Earlier this year, I was in the gym with my daughter and we were actually cleaning the gym. And all of a sudden, it's been years since I had a panic attack, But we had gotten some really, really threatening emails from random people on the internet, and they were writing some really nasty things against me and my family, like threatening things, threatening us. And I had like thought I had worked through it. I was like not trying to let it get through to me, but obviously it had. So, anyways, I was cleaning the gym with my daughter, and all of a sudden, I started having a panic attack. And I'm like trying to just like breathe through it. And my daughter notices and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I think I'm having a panic attack." She goes, "Quick, tell me 3 things that you see in the room right now." And so I look around, I said, "Okay, I see that board, it's brown." She's like, "Okay, tell me 3 things that you smell." She knows nervous system trauma work because that's what I'm certified in, and she hears me talking about it, and she's immersed in it, right? This 10-year-old in like 20 seconds disarmed my entire panic attack. And then she could tell, she's like, "Okay, I can already tell the color is coming back in your face." She's 10. So everything that I'm telling you, it's not that I pretend to be happy. They see a full flawed human being that goes through their roller coaster, but they always see me returning to my center. They see me like yesterday. Of course, with that reel going viral, I have comments coming in, and someone wrote there. He's like, "These Gen Z women," right, or something like that. And I was like, "Hey, someone called me Gen Z. Is that good or bad?" And Ayan goes, "Mom, that's really good. I'm Gen Z." I'm like, "Okay, good. High five, right?" So they see me and they see my journey. Things like that could have triggered me years ago. But the fact that like I'm high-fiving them now and it's the whole thing is kind of funny, it's like it's a whole different, it's a real representation of a real human being and a real human woman and a real human wife that always returns back to her center of happiness. That's it. It's not like, the thing is, even if I wanted to, I can't hide my real honest feeling anyway. So I just tell them, I say, "Today I'm tired and I'm working through it. Today I'm overwhelmed and I'm working through it." And they'll tell me, it's so cute. They'll say, "Okay, sit with your emotions. Where do you feel it in your body?" And I'm like, "Oh, I wonder where they learned that from." Mina, you don't know how much you've changed my life with just your free work and lady balls. Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. That means the world to me. I'm so happy to hear that. Yep, our little Nini Kabibi, she's a whole firecracker. You're speaking so much truth. Thank you, Diana. How is that for a proud mama moment? Way to go, kiddo. Yeah, they pick up on everything, right? So I'm not teaching them just a hyped up, like, spiritually bypassed version of happiness. They see a real human day of a 8-figure CEO, a wife, a mother, a friend. They see all the stuff, and then they see me how I hold all of that. Sometimes I have overwhelmed. Sometimes I get triggered. Sometimes I have people threatening me. Like, they see how to work through that. And in their life, when they're adults, when they have their own versions of duality and life and things show up, they have a good representation. Oh, this is when I have to sit with my emotion. This is where I have to have a difficult conversation. This is when I have to outsource things. This is how to work through anxiety, or, whatever the thing is. That's it. Yeah. Ah, so cute. I can't wait to have a family and my kids and have fun with them too. Yes. They're just little souls that just want to have fun with you. Yes. Does having a preference for a specific cultural connection seem like a country limitation, or can it be a part of authentically following what feels right for you? Okay, so Maria, my desire was that I marry a Pakistani American man that speaks Urdu. The language was important for me. That's a desire. A limitation is I want to marry someone that speaks Urdu, but there's no good men out there that speak Urdu. Oh, wah, wah, right? I want to get married to a Danish man, but Danish men don't get married and they do 50-50. That's not a desire. That's you fighting for your limitations. I can't even coach that. It's like, bye. It's like, come back when you have a desire. because coaching is based on desire. It's not based on needs. You have issues with needs, you go to therapy. Coaching is all desire based. It's for the top elite people that want to go more. They don't need it, they desire it. So coaching starts after desire comes in. Oh my world, Alina sounds like a great, well-rounded little human being. Well done. Thank you. You know, the funny thing is, it's not that I even taught them that. When you're just living this life or whatever life, they just pick up everything anyway. So if I was a woman with a lot of limiting beliefs, that's what my kids would know. But because I'm in this world of inner work and emotional intelligence and nervous system work and trauma informed, like all this world, that's what they know. That's their world. You know, what advice you would give a 21-year-old finished with university but not ready to settle for marriage? Okay, do not let men take advantage of you. Do not date until you're dating for marriage. Don't become any man's girlfriend. Don't let anyone touch you, do anything funky. Like, that's all for them. None of that is for you. Okay? Don't be giving yourself up for anyone that has not, like, that doesn't have like the same desires for your DNA that you have for you. Okay? So that's number one. Secondly, get in well-rounded experience of life. I talk about this in my book. Like, this is your kind of like skill stacking era. Learn to cook and like also learn science. Learn like nutrition. Learn like a weird hodgepodge of life skills that make for a really good, well-rounded human being. So things that don't necessarily go together, right? Like things I've studied, they don't really go together, but they do go together in my mind when I put them together, right? And so learn like that. When you learn a variety of things, it will teach you, like your brain will become multi-dimensional. It's like a web of knowledge, a web of knowledge, a web of knowledge, and then you start thinking differently. Also, make as many connections as you can. So focus on building like really healthy, emotionally intelligent relationships, because the better you are at building those relationships, the more primed you will be for marriage. Are you Pakistani or Indian? Both. So my dad was born in India, and then his parents migrated to Pakistan, and my mom was born in Pakistan. And so my parents are Southeast Asian, they're passed away now, and I was born and raised in the United States. So both. You could say both. What is the number one beauty treatment that you would recommend for someone who is going to give birth in 3-ish months? So for me, the biggest beauty treatment has been diet. So I notice that I feel most beautiful when I'm not inflamed. And especially during pregnancy, we can have a lot of like water weight too. We can like retain a lot of water. So make sure like you're eating a low inflammation diet is what I would recommend. And then beauty treatments, I would say whatever makes you happy. Massages are fun. Facials could be fun. I used to have like the biggest aversion to facials until recently, and now I get one every month. I can't wait to, Paul. I can't wait until my family needs equal therapy, desire equals coaching. Love that. Yes. Dear Mina, how many coaches and tutors you've had and do you still do? So this year I had 10 total. Oh my God, my whole life, probably over 100, including all my professors and teachers, probably over 100. Yeah. Mina, 1 year ago, you changed this German girl's life with Lady Balls, and since then, you and your work has included in my everyday life. I simply love you. I received that. That makes me so happy. Yay! Lady Balls is very happy. He's dancing. I feel like this book has like its own consciousness. Hey! Hi, Mina. Where would you say is best to meet marriage ready instead of dating apps? So I have a video called 7 Places to Meet Healthy Men. It's in the Get the Ring. It might also be on YouTube. Let me check. Family and friends is number one. I would say events is a big one. There's also matchmakers. I like niche matchmakers versus celebrity matchmakers personally, because the niche ones, will have more, like, for example, if you're Nigerian and you want to marry another, like, if you want to marry a Nigerian man, you're gonna be better off finding a niche Nigerian matchmaker versus like a celebrity, all the people matchmaker when you want a Nigerian man, because she's gonna have more options. She or he are gonna have more options for that. So that's another place. Expand your surface area of luck by interacting with more human beings. Human beings know other human beings. And so I feel like dating sites are often like, I don't know, they've just morphed into this whole weird predator type of a thing. I'm sure there's some good ones out there still, but they've changed. I have family members and Irfan has family members that are meeting people and getting married off of dating sites, but they're not really dating sites. Like in my culture, we have marriage sites. It's a different, because family is involved. So there's less predators. Women that show up without family, they still get predators. Trust me on that. So I would say meet people. Even if it's other women, they know men. They have brothers, they have uncles, they have colleagues. Increase your surface area of luck by meeting more people. My favorite story recently, this was like a couple of years ago, but it's my favorite, is one of my clients joined this Facebook group with something she was really into, and she started just talking to a whole bunch of people about this one particular thing that they were interested in, and that's how she met her husband. So going out and like meeting people. Speaking of coaching, I became one accidentally by sharing Mina's work. One woman got engaged in 3 months, and I went to her wedding. The other just closed on her dream house in Italy. Yes, I love this. Congratulations, Kabibi. Like, think about the barakat that you're earning for your children and your grandchildren. Like, wow, I love that. I love this because when we're connected to the divine, when we're really committed to making the planet a better work, everyone that's connected to our field suddenly also becomes that like portal, also becomes a healer, also becomes the carrier of that mission, of that passion. I'm so happy. I'm dating an amazing man and told him I only get sexual in a committed relationship. He's working hard to get there. How can I explain that what I actually desire is no sex until marriage? Why didn't you say that the first time around would be my question. And if you didn't, next time it comes up organically, just mention it that I'm actually saving myself for my husband. That's it. You just own it. You're not doing anything wrong. You get to decide how you're going to keep your body, your energy safe. If someone desires to have a very doting husband, what are some inner work steps that person can take to achieve that? That entire thing, babe, is outlined in Arouse His Love Masterclass. I highly recommend it. It has like over 30 hours of seduction training, and it's so good. It's like $97. I'll try to find the link. It really is the best place to start. If you have the basic babe bundle, it's included in that. I still use those principles to this day. Like, it's really life-changing. I'll throw the link for you. Number one thing is that you have to feel worthy of that. You have to feel worthy. And if you feel like, let me see. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 17 hours of training. I think I was thinking of something different. It's if you scroll down, it tells you all the curriculum, and it's 19 hours total. So yeah, so that's in there. Number one, I would say is that if you are uncomfortable being seen and in close intimacy with a man, no matter what tactics you use, it's not going to work. Because to a healthy man, penetrating someone that doesn't want to really be penetrated, they don't want to be seen, they don't want to be interacted with in that way, feels like energetic rape. And he's not going to do that. So you have to first put down those walls and open your heart. There's only so much I can show you guys here, but there's like energetic practices you can do. There's inner work that you can do to start opening up your heart, because this is not something intellectual. You really have to open your energy body. Otherwise, it's like he's trying to enter you when you don't really want to be entered. Energetically, you're blocking, but you're also blaming that, oh, he's not doing it. It's like you're not really ready. Sarah, we're not hiring at the moment. We're really like good and solid with our team at the moment. You're a diamond, Mina. Thank you for all of your realness and your inspiration. It's incredibly special to see what's possible for women. Yes, 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 yes. I'm very grateful for you, Mina. I found you 3 years ago, and you have changed my way of being and perspective on life, relationships, and the universe. Thank you for everything. You're so welcome. Amina, I'm letting go of my 8 years business that is not aligned and starting my new online business that's not making money yet. Finding it hard to let go of my old business that is still making some. Any advice? So Laura, what I would say is that, is there a way that you can make the transition smoother? What I've learned is that, especially as women, and I'm not saying this is for everyone, but if you're anything like me, I work better from a position of strength. So because my husband and I were already like multimillionaires when I started my business, I never approached it like I have to make money. And I think it would have been a very different business. And I don't think I would have made it here if I did approach it like that, because my energy would have been different. I would have felt like, I don't know, it turns into provider money versus magic money. Because this was magic money for me, it remained magical. So is there a way where you can still use the other business as your provider money while you start earning magic money in this business? Otherwise, what I don't want to happen is that you start seeing this business as your provider money and then the fun goes out the window. So is there a way that the transition is a little bit more fluid and not so much like ripping the Band-Aid off, if that makes sense? Let me know if that helps you or if you have follow-up questions. Mina, how to embody all sensual, playful energy when dating? I've released trauma and that happened around that, but I'm still scared of opening up on dates that flavor without it being misinterpreted. Here's my advice for you. Don't try to be playful on dates. Just be playful in your real life. So it's not like this is my real life and I'm trying to be playful with my husband. It's not like this is my real life and I'm going to show playful in my business. I'm just playful. So because I'm just playful and in my pleasure and I'm full of femininity, I'm full of pleasure, whatever I interact with has that in it. Versus if I'm like showing up as playful on a date, it feels like something outside of me or something outside of my norm that I'm now activating in this thing. But if I'm just like playful, like in my everyday life, in the way that I eat, in the way that I engage with my kids, of course, being a full human, like if it's like how I live my life. That's what I'm embodied in, then it's not something that I'm like doing on a date, if that makes sense. That's my advice. Like, this is just how I live my life, right? Well, I've seen people trying to be like overly like hyped up and excited when they're like selling something online, and I can tell. Like, people that follow this work, we're highly intuitive beings, right? Like, we can see someone that's like living their life in pleasure because they're just embodied in it. This is just how they do. This is how they be. This is who they are. Versus someone that's like just like trying to like pump themselves up. You can kind of see that. So just be playful and be in your pleasure in all areas of your life. I have a 30-day thing that I'm doing right now called the Wild Feminine Energetics. We're having so much fun in there. We're on day 11 today, obviously. So 30 days straight, I'm resetting the pleasure set point of the ladies that are in there. So every morning you get a transmission from me on like Wild Feminine Energetics. And WILD is an acronym, like it's like my framework. So I would say like resetting your natural set point versus like something you have to do on a date. The Intoxicate Play Shop helped me so much with my own energy. Yeah, that one's fire, isn't it? That's like the cheat code. Yes. Yeah. How do you deal with mother-in-law who creates fights and act like a victim to get your husband's attention? Okay, so anytime you have these kind of in-laws or family members that are doing things like this, you become a safe place. So everything in nature wants to feel like they belong. They want to feel good. They want to heal. Of course, some people are addicted to suffering and all that stuff, but most people want to feel good. They want to feel belonging. And so the best, most savage thing you can do is when other people are creating drama, you create playfulness. When other people are being victim, you be in your power. When other people are complaining and in their like suffering energy, you be in your pleasure. And all of a sudden the contrast, right? The contrast of it will just be like, okay, door number one, suffering, victim, drama. Door number two, pleasure, playfulness, power. Who do you think most people will choose, right? And so become something completely different. Become the unicorn in a world like that's literally the subtitle of my book. Like, let me remind you guys, this book is not just called Lady Balls. It's called How to Become Savagely Successful in a World Addicted to Suffering. So by the way, I've encountered all of these things, like people addicted to suffering, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, the party starts when Mina enters the room. Because it's like, here's a party, suffering, victimhood, negativity, sacrifice. I show up. I'm not even saying anything, but if you just energy, we all know how to read energy. I just show up. I'm not tapping into that. I can interact with that person. I'm the strongest frame in that room. I can, no, I'm so sorry you're dealing with that. I can deal with that person. Oh, that must be so hard. I can deal with that person. I can deal with that person. Who do you think everyone wants to sit with? I'm not saying much. I just showed up. This is my energy. Who do you think that your husband's he's gonna want to go home with you? He's gonna be like, I'll just want to stay here. And I've had many clients over the years where their husbands were, favoring the in-laws. They were getting into fight. All Desi families, I've had a lot of Desi clients, dealt with all of that stuff. And I had to work with my clients in saying, you don't interrupt. But she said this to me. No, I don't want you to do that. I want you to stay above it. And eventually their husbands just got tired of the drama that he was so used to from his family line. And he's like, and instead of it being like, I'm pitted against him and her, all that stuff, he would now come home and be like, oh, thank God that's over. Yeah, because now you're a safe place. Everyone wants to belong in a safe space. His nervous system doesn't want that crazy roller coaster. What if you are the one that's calm? What if you're the one that's regulated? What if you're the one that did the 3-week nervous system reboot with Mina? And you're like, I see you're suffering and I don't want to raise you anything. You can just stay over there doing your thing. Thank you for this live. You make my day brighter. I'm gonna cry. Donna. Oh my God, I see what you mean. Can definitely tell that resonates. Thank you. Beautiful. Thanks for the advice. I feel that the old business is keeping me of giving my 100% in the new business. Is there a way that you can hire it out, share it with someone, even if you shared the profits a little bit? I'm also providing for my husband. I like the idea of finding the way to make the transition more playful. Yes, why are you providing for your husband? Can he take over that business then? Like, find a way where it's a win-win-win. I'm all about everyone gets to win. What's the solution, Laura? You know your business. I'm just some lady that doesn't know your particular situation, right? Here's the prompt for you. What's the situation where you win first and foremost? You need to win first. You win, they win, and everyone wins. So you win, he wins, everyone wins. So if this business is needed for the money, can you make someone a partner? Can you hire someone? Can you hand that over to him? He needs to be doing something too. And then free yourself up. But I don't know if you know your situation. I just don't want you in a situation where this new thing that you're starting from a position of weakness or a one down position because you need it to be profitable right away. Some businesses are profitable right away, but sometimes when we put too much stress on it from the beginning, it actually can hurt us. By the way, ladies, I don't know how long we've been going live, but I have an appointment. Let me just make sure. Okay, we're good. Okay, let's do 5 more minutes. I love hanging out with you guys. Any suggestions on how to put yourself and your needs first? Have a few of your courses, including Nervous System 1, but get derailed from life responsibilities, feeling overwhelmed and demoralized. So I'm sorry that you're feeling overwhelmed and demoralized. That's definitely not a good place to be. So Nida, what I would say is understand that you putting yourself first is putting your family first. So for me, for you, for us. So the reason that I put myself first is I want a happy person kissing my children. I want my children deserve to have a happy mom. My husband deserves to have a happy wife. And so because I'm doing it for me, for them, for us, it's easier to do. So pay yourself first. You would be surprised. Like, this is an awful example. And I'm sorry that I'm giving you this example, but I'm just going to say it. My family, my birth family, we were so busy. We were so busy doing all kinds of things until my mom got diagnosed with cancer. And then life hit us, reality hit us. And all the time that we said we didn't have, reality hit us that we had to make time. Because that became our reality. We kept saying, we don't have time, we can't do this. Like we were so overwhelmed, so much involved in everything. And then life hit us hard. So it's like either you can get yourself out of Newtonian time where it's always overwhelming, time is never enough, it's always an uphill battle, or God will do it, right? Or life will do it, or duality will do it. And get yourself into Einstein time. Einstein time moves very differently than minutes and hours and weeks and months. It's where we first get ourselves in the right mind. So I do not do anything until my nervous system is regulated. In fact, I'll just tell people I can't go to this meeting until give me 5 minutes. I have to regulate my nervous system. I can't have this conversation. I'm not regulated right now. 5 minutes until bedtime, mommy's gonna go regulate herself first. Because everything I bring from a dysregulated state will become dysregulated just from the nature. So I know, Nida, it sounds like you're either Pakistani or Indian from your name. Tell me if I'm correct, but I know culturally we've seen so much sacrifice, right? Like we've seen people just like having to put everyone first. We have to be the ones that change that. Life is otherwise going to do it for you. I recommend you take the control back in. I know there's responsibilities, babe. I get it. I know how difficult it is being a mom, a daughter, a sister, a wife, business owner, all the things. But I promise you that when you do it from a regulated space, the entire experience will be different. It will be like two different people doing it. I have had days where I'm like, oh my God, there isn't enough time, blah, 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 all the stuff. 5 minutes to regulate myself. I'm like, oh, all of a sudden space opened up. How come? Because the space was the lack of time or the lack of space was an internal experience projected from my nervous system. It wasn't an actual reality. My dysregulation was creating this limiting belief of there isn't enough time, and sometimes it makes it worse because we start adding things onto our plate that we actually don't need to be doing. When you're regulated, you call the bullshit on yourself. When you're regulated, you're like, why did I add this to my calendar? I don't need to be doing that. Who said I have to do this? So regulate first, take action second. Make this a thing. Regulate yourself first, your state will be different. How did you heal and recover from hate and threats against you? I shared the entire journey in my persecution wound masterclass, like everything. And what I will say is I learned to have like they helped me 10x my nervous system. They're the reason that I'm now going viral every time I post, because I think energetically, because my nervous system wasn't as strong as it could have been, God was literally putting like a protection spell against me, and I was keeping myself strong. And so I want people to be able to find my work. There was a woman that left a comment, I think last month. She said, I got married because of your free content. I don't understand why you're chasing fame. Don't worry about fame. And I was thinking, how selfish. So she found me. She got married for my free content, but she doesn't want me to be famous because other people shouldn't find me, right? Fame is something that you have to have when you have a big mission. If I'm not famous, people can't find my work. There's women that are literally in horrific situations right now that are praying for me to show up. I need to be famous. I'm extremely introverted. I'm a deca millionaire. I don't need the freaking, like, I could hide out and live my whole life. Just the dividends we make from our investments, it's way more than what we can even spend on our lifestyle, right? I have a mission. I want to help more people. I have to be famous for that. Do you think I want to be famous? Fuck no. I don't care about that shit. The reason that I even wanted to be rich, as I talked about in Lady Balls, is I heard from my professor that if I had $1 million, she had said that she would just stay home and read it all day. I was like, oh my God, that's an option. That's my ideal lifestyle. But now that I've signed up for this, I'm like, okay, well then I have to be able to hold a level of fame. And what I realized this year is that my nervous system wasn't ready. It wasn't. Because when people threatened my family, my first gut instinct was like, fuck this shit, I'm done. And then I started realizing that actually, I'm not really in integrity with God. Because I told God, no matter what, I'm with you, we're doing this. And then the first chance that my family got threatened, I was like, forget it. That's not what being all in means. And so I prayed and I said, make me stronger. Because this shit is going to happen. Make me stronger. And then the things showed up. I started noticing the holes in my consciousness, where I was still weak, where I needed to grow, what things I needed to put in place, where I needed more nervous system work, what more inner work I needed. And then I did it. Why do you think I had 10 coaches and mentors this year? Because I was like, I'm going big. Let's do this shit. Let's get the team together. I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm better. And now I get to invite more people in and I can hold that. Wow, as a trauma survivor, regulating your nervous system first and only doing anything from there is genius advice. Yes, 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 Kabibi. That's it. You know how in so I don't know how it works, but there's this thing where after a certain number of like DUIs, like driving under the influence, it's a thing in the United States, in case someone's watching from another country. What they do in the United States is if you have been caught driving under the influence of alcohol, they'll put like this device in your car. And supposedly how this device works is that because you've already been caught drinking under the influence, you have to blow on this thing to start your car. So what I was teaching my students in Kainat, this is some of the work we've been doing, is you have to imagine that there is a breathalyzer attached to everything you do. And you're breathing into this device. And if it shows up that you are dysregulated, you are not to proceed further. Your car shuts down. It doesn't even start. And you have to give yourself 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You will get faster. The techniques that I've put, the practices in nervous system regulation in the three-week reboot are created so that they compound. In the beginning, they'll work immediately. It's a brilliant course because it works immediately and then it also compounds. So as you start doing it, if you do it every day, you're going to be able to regulate yourself faster. That I talked about the toggling. The more you're able to toggle, the stronger your nervous system becomes. It's like when you're working out, your muscle tears down and then it builds itself back up, right? And you eat protein, it builds itself, you recover. It's kind of like that with your nervous system. So now it's become a game. When I get a nasty comment, the game is, first the game was, I get triggered. How quickly can I regulate? Now what I'm noticing, I'm getting so many negative comments on that reel that went viral, I'm not even getting triggered. I'm like playing with them. There's people writing things like, oh, she's a gold digger. I'm like, yes, Kissy, I love you. Oh my God, she lets her kids drink alcohol. I'm like, yes, Cartier gave them apple cider. They loved it, right? Like I'm messing with them. It's like a fun game. They're helping my reel get seen more, and it brought in thousands of new people into my world. There's women DMing me saying, "Oh my God, how did you do this? Tell me more. What do you do? Where do I start?" Thousands of women that needed this work found me, and these people are writing nasty comments to help me. So it became this fun game. Now I'm messing with them. They think they're triggering me, they're helping me. I'm messing with them. It's fun. That was not me earlier this year. Okay. So thank you. Like all of it gets to be, I believe that God is always doing everything for me. Like it's all happening for me. So this whole year compounded my wealth, compounded my inner work, made my family even stronger, even more robust, made my team top class, made our SOPs even tighter. Like my terms and conditions now are like even more rock solid. Like shit, I nailed it. Like who I am now, if I look back to earlier this year, I'm just like, this was like 10 years of growth. Like in not even one complete year, I did more than what most people can do in 10 years. Just in one, like all of this, it's all happening for me. Life breathalyzer, yeah, we need to all have that. Yeah, can't come because my car body won't start. Yes. Because remember, we're social creatures and we're always also co-regulating. So if I'm dysregulated and I'm gonna go tuck my kids in for bed, I don't want to give that to them. I want to just give myself that few minutes to regulate myself and really be at a 0 or a 1 before I go hug them. That's it. My granny is a missionary who traveled the world. Being famous to help people is easier. She was never home. LOL. Yes, I get to be home. The more I can be sleeping and people are finding my work. They're buying the book. They're reading, they're watching the free content. They're reading my posts on Instagram. Oh, by the way, I have a channel on Instagram where I can send you guys audio messages and I love it. It's new. I just started it a few days ago. Let me show it to you. So it works like this. It's like a private channel and I can leave you guys audio messages and I love it because it's so much easier to just leave you a quick message than like coming live. So if you're on Instagram, make sure you're following me. It's called, my Instagram is TheUniverseGuru_official, but the channel is called Million Dollar Babes and you can find it here. Like if you go to my main page, it's right here. I think I'm pointing at the right thing. Something like, yeah. So there you go. I love the audio messages. Yeah, it makes me so happy. Yeah. Okay, guys, I do have to run. This was so much fun. I have an appointment. I gotta go get my self-care on. I had the most delicious facial and 90-minute massage yesterday, and I'm gonna go get my lashes kind of like freshened up today. We've got a lot going on this week, a lot of fun stuff. So I love you guys, and this was so much fun. I didn't want to leave. There's gonna be a lot of live streams coming this week and next week. Make sure you sign up for that Godly Wealth class and for my audio messages. And yeah, I love you. Bye, everyone. I don't want to stop. This is